Thank you very much for the very hospitality and also introduction to the seminar audience. As you can see that actually it's my first time to be here, but not my first time to be in the Philippines. It's my third time to be in the Philippines, but actually my first time to come here by airplane. The first two times I came here by the cruising ship, and I will tell you about the ship later on. And I planned this presentation and I forgot to ask who my audience was. I expected a lot of faculty, but I soon realized that a lot of students would be coming, so I changed my presentation slide a little bit, including some more photos for you to see, because I know you guys like to see photos, okay, about Cambodia, and then you can be more engaged in seeing photos, okay. Let me start the presentation with my self-introduction and introducing something about Cambodia, and then I spent some time presenting about the Cambodian higher education, and by elaborating something that you as the students, okay, can be a part of the cooperation scheme, and also that's the opportunity for collaboration. So actually I graduated from Japan. I went to Japan soon after I finished my bachelor degree in 1996, and then I started working just only for about 1 year and a half, and I got my the scholarship from the Japanese government called Notebook Kagakusho, means the Japanese scholarship from the Ministry of Education of Japan. So I went to Japan in 1998 and got my master in education in 2002 in Sendai. Anyone heard the word Sendai? I think look familiar to you? No? It's a place where tsunami hit in 2011. Yeah, tsunami hit Sendai in 2011. And then I also got my PhD in 2005 in Hiroshima. You can see, get the, we have the pointer? Oh, that's all, sorry, okay. You can see here, maybe for Japanese people, when they see this one, they start laughing. And can you guess what is it inside? This is the osake, mean rice wine, okay? So Hiroshima, the place where I was studying, is famous for rice wine, okay? So I mixed wine and education, and it became me today, okay? Don't try to do it yourself, okay? Yeah, so because, and then I came back, and then I started working briefly as an English lecturer at the Royal University of Phnom Penh, and then I founded the Master of Education program as introduced by our dear lady here. And I also went back to Japan to teach for 1 semester in Nagoya, and I started my career. That's what I'm doing up to now from 2011. And my focus area is policy formulation, capacity building, and international relations. That's because of the two things, capacity building and international relations, that brought me here. So if I did not focus on these two issues, I wouldn't be in touch with SEARCA, with Maria or Noah, and I would not have a chance to come here actually. So for my volunteer activities, I think it's more related to you all. It's about youth, okay, development. Since I was young, okay, I was very much engaged in youth empowerment, youth leadership, youth development, just like kind of youth engagement, like going out with youth and do certain activities together. So when I was in the university, I spent about like 40% of my time, okay, doing the volunteer work, and most of those work are related to youth empowerment. So here is I told you about like my coming to Philippines for the first time. That's the ship. This ship called Ship for Southeast Asian Youth Program. I think this is something that you guys can aim for, but very competitive for the Filipino youth, because every year they select 28 youth from 18 to 30 to participate in this SEARCA program. So the ship started from, I mean, like if you are selected, you spend about two months to do the pre-departure training, yeah. And the training focus on your like leadership, your community engagement, and also some discussion about the theme that you are interested in. And you will use your knowledge that you get from the pre-departure training to engage with the other youth from ASEAN and Japan on board the ship. So on the ship itself, it's around like 400 youth coming from ASEAN. Okay, all the 10 nations of ASEAN send 29 each. And then the young people, the youth from Japan, 100, including the staff, so about 500 or 600 people on the ship. Okay, so you fly to Japan, and then you get on board the ship, and the ship cruises to Southeast Asia and stop over four or five countries. It can be the Philippines, it can be Singapore, it can be Malaysia, Bangkok. It depends on the routine, or Cambodia. Yeah, so if you are on board the ship, you get a chance to visit at least 5 countries in ASEAN, including Japan. Okay, and then after that, the ship goes back to Japan, and then you fly back. Okay, so it takes about 50 days. Okay, on board the ship. Yeah, so it's my first time that I came here. I joined the ship program soon after I graduated. I went back to Cambodia. And then I got some people from the embassy asked me like, oh, like you met my chance, and they knew that I graduated from Japan, and they said, okay, you can speak English, and then, okay, please become the discussion facilitator on board the ship. And why not? Okay, you know, traveling on the ship is one of my dreams actually. Yeah, when I was in the university, I always dream about a peace boat. That is the boat project cruising around the world. Okay, yeah, but I got a chance to be on board the ship. So yeah, so I came to the Philippines, to Manila. We spent only 2 or 3 nights. I don't remember well, but I did not have a chance to stay outside the ship. Like each night, you have to go back and stay in the cabin. Okay, so my second travel, yeah, this you can see as the ship. Then I was on board the ship again as the national leader of Cambodia. Yeah. So my first one, I was the discussion facilitator. I work and they paid me a little bit. Okay. But for this one, okay, for the whole 5 months, okay, volunteer work without any payment. Yeah, because I'm considered to be the national leader of Cambodia, so we work for the government for free. Okay, but it's a lot of experience, and I think that something that has shaped me today is a result of my experience on board the ship. And then you can see this is like when you are in the ship program. Okay, you may say that you have wasted your academic calendar for about 1 semester, okay, but you have made a lot of friends, okay, from all over ASEAN, okay, and you visit 5 countries, you make friends, and you experience the culture, and then when somebody asks you, have you ever been to Cambodia, you will be very proud to raise your hand up, okay, like that lady, okay, yeah. Okay, and here this is my 3rd time on board the ship, but that ship, the 3rd time did not come to Manila. It's a ship for world youth. Okay, that is another youth program, but the ship for Southeast Asian youth is intended between Japan and ASEAN youth. But the ship for world youth is intended for Japan and non-ASEAN youth. It can be the youth from Europe, from Africa, okay, from the United States, Canada, North America came together. So I got the experience here, a lot of interesting things that's on the way sailing the ship here. The 3rd trip, okay, we sailed across the Pacific Ocean down to Australia and visited the many Pacific islands. Now I think that if I got a lot of time, a lot of money, I would not have a chance to go there again, because it's difficult to go there. Visiting the country like Solomon Island, Fiji, and Vanuatu and Micronesia. Okay, it's interesting. But my friends call me a disaster boy. Okay, you remember my first school was in Sendai, tsunami. Yeah, and Hiroshima, you know already. Yeah. Since your primary school, you heard about Hiroshima atomic bomb. But at the time, nothing happened about Sendai. Okay, but the ship that I was on here in 2011. Okay, so when we started set the sail from Japan, when we crossed over near Okinawa, okay, we were about, and then we went down to Brisbane. Okay, 2 days before we reached Brisbane, there was the flooding. Brisbane flooding in 2011. Maybe you don't remember. Okay, it's a severe flooding in Australia. Okay, and most of the people on board the ship, we planned a lot of activities in Australia, in Brisbane, but we ended up doing nothing. But we just I would not say the word enjoy, but we participated in the mud. We became the mud soldiers. So they got a kind of t-shirt. Anyone helping clearing the mud out of the city, you got one t-shirt and put your tag like mud soldier. It means like you are helping to clear the mud out of the Brisbane city. Okay? So the one disaster to Australia. So after Australia, I sailed back to Japan, but we crossed New Zealand, Christchurch, earthquake, Christchurch, my God. Okay, and it happened again when I got back to Japan and I visited my university. And 2 or 3 days after I came back to Phnom Penh, I heard about tsunami. Okay, but okay, that's why it's called me the disaster boy. Disaster boy. But okay, I'm sure nothing will happen to Los Baños out there. Okay. So here it's a lot of interesting activities for you guys. Okay, and this is a part of the extra curriculum, and this is something that it can be. I encourage you to reach out and go out. This is something to build your confidence and develop your soft skill also. Yeah, you can imagine for 52 days on board the ship, and about you only came on shore is only about 10 or 12 days. So about 40 days you are on board the ship, participating in the discussion, performing everything. Stressful experience, but at the same time you experience what we call the friendliness of the people and experience the culture. So this is the alumni, myself with Hiroshima, and we developed a lot of connection with the Japan where I graduated. Yeah, and the thing that I really want to show you here, okay, introducing Cambodia. You know, I got a friend working for the Ministry of Finance. Oh no, Ministry of Tourism. I asked them among ASEAN countries, okay, so which country that has the most people visiting Cambodia, okay. The answer came with Vietnam, okay, Vietnam followed by Thailand, okay, and for the Philippines came number 8, just better than Brunei and Indonesia. Okay. Yeah, so I can assume that not many Filipinos tourists or people come to Cambodia. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, maybe my presentation here can trigger your interest to visit Cambodia next time. But maybe maybe you know something about Cambodia. Let's try to guess. I have some quiz for you. Yeah. How much do you know? What is the capital city of Cambodia? I have four questions. If you get it right, okay, I can get you the ticket to go to Cambodia. Okay? Air ticket. Yeah? Okay, 4 questions. Okay? So the first question, A, B, or C? C. C. Good. And number 2, the population of Cambodia? A, B, or A, B, or C? Number 3, letter B, letter A, B, A. Yeah, it's B. Okay. So number 2, you got. Okay. And 3, what Cambodia is famous of Angkor Wat? Which is Angkor Wat? A, B, or C? C. C? B? All of them. Only one. Okay. Yeah, actually, it's C. Okay. Who has got correct all? Okay. But now, okay, let's forget about these 3 questions. Okay. The last question, if you get it right, you get the ticket. Yeah. Yes, I'm serious. Okay. The ticket to Cambodia. Okay. Who is the Prime Minister of Cambodia? A, B, A, B. You don't know? B. B. C. Okay, if you say C, you get a ticket. Okay. Okay, but then you came to Prime Minister, you got a ticket. Okay, contact me. Okay, it's my promise. Okay, actually now the fact is the land area of Cambodia is only 181 square kilometer. It's about like just more than a half. Okay, it's about 60% of the Philippines. Okay, and we joined ASEAN in 1999, and you must question why we are so late. So in ASEAN, Cambodia is considered to be the youngest brother, okay, of ASEAN, okay, and the youngest, and maybe the naughtiest one, maybe. During the ASEAN summit, in the ASEAN summit in Laos, there was a problem with Cambodia and the Philippines. Yeah, it happened. That's why we say we are the youngest and the naughtiest one. Okay. Yeah, but that's the politics. And we joined the WTO 2004, and we joined ASEAN late because Cambodia had the problem of in the history. You may know about the Khmer Rouge, okay, the Killing Field. Anyone watch the Killing Field movie? Yeah, the Killing Field is it shows the tragedy of the Khmer Rouge, of the Killing Field in Cambodia. So we had a civil war, we had a genocide regime in 1979, and then the civil war and that torn apart the countries, and we only became peaceful in 1998. Yeah, just about, I would say, just about 19 years ago. Okay, so and then soon after we became peaceful, we joined ASEAN and WTO in 2004, and since then we started to develop the country, and now the GDP of Cambodia, starting from 2004-05, we reached the average of 7%. Okay, about the average of 7% annually. Except during the global financial crisis in 2008-2009 that we slumped. Okay, so the government the 7% of increase is thanks to the agriculture, government, construction, and tourism. You can see agriculture. Yeah, agriculture. Cambodia is considered to be the agricultural countries with about 80% or 85% or people are engaged in agriculture. And agriculture itself is more about, not about agro-business, it's not more about the agro-industry, okay? It's about like subsistence, okay? And the income, I would say that the researchers or academics, when they see the increase in agriculture, the GDP from agriculture, we are not happy because this is not the value-added product. Okay, this is not some. It's just only we got from the pure primary industry. Okay, I mean like exactly from the produce, exactly that we extracted from the ground. Okay, let's say rice, corn, okay, or mango. We got it, and then we just exported the raw material to the other countries. So, and the increase of the output of agriculture may be because of the logging. Okay, yeah, people start felling the trees, okay, and got revenue and contribute to agriculture. Okay, so this is something that I think Cambodia need to take care of agriculture in a very contemporary manner, meaning that something needs to be done, okay, in agriculture, not just rely on our traditional way of doing with agriculture. That's why I'm here. Okay, so we got a technical assistant from SEARCA, okay, to support the university in Cambodia. Okay, and for government, it's the same. Okay, a lot of factories in Cambodia, but not actually. We did not get the full benefit from the garment factory in Cambodia. The garment factories came to Cambodia because of Cambodia has got the exempt of tax, okay, and also like for example like the market in the US and market in Europe, okay, they do not charge tax from the products from Cambodia. So the factories from China just set up the factories in Cambodia, but they did not, they only use the existing like almost readily product, okay, and just go to Cambodia and just do the final touch and then pack in Cambodia, and then they say this is the clothes or garment made in Cambodia in order to get the tax exemption from the US and European markets. Okay, so because of that, okay, who got the benefit? Okay, it's not much about for the people, for the workers. Construction is the same, and tourism is the same. Okay, about 2 million people visit Angkor Wat every year. Okay, but the revenue do not, like the government cannot extract much revenue from the tourists. Okay, because most of the revenue go to the other like big company, and this is something that we discussed. So the economic pillars we consider to be fragile. So in 2011 we diversify the economic development pillars to depend on a broad-based industrial and technology-oriented economy. Okay, so shifting the economic development dependency on the 4 pillars of agriculture, garment, construction, and tourism towards something more technology and industry oriented. So you can imagine, in order to supply the need to diversify the economy toward industry oriented, we need human resources. We need capable people, quality workers. Okay? But Cambodia is lucky. Cambodia is lucky to be full of young people. Yeah. Yesterday, one of my friends from the Philippines, he said like the Philippines has a lot of young people because we are good at making children. Okay. And when I made a presentation, I said, yeah, Cambodia is as good as the Filipinos in terms of making children. So now we have a lot of people within the young age group up to 35 years old. But remember that, okay, Cambodia soon we will depend on industrial and technology-oriented economy. But we have a lot of young people. But young people with what? Young people with, I would say, the young people with low skill, okay, low skill. So they end up doing some manual work, use their labor in order to exchange the labor to get the payment. I remember in 2014, I had a chance to go to Korea, and my friend and I were about to, we got to the airport and almost late, and we was I saw that I did not bring any big luggage, so I did not need 2 hours to check in. So I maybe just only 1 hour and a half is okay. But when I got there 1 hour and a half, I could not check in on time because, no, I could check on time but was barely, okay, yeah, was about to miss the flight. Because a lot of people going to Korea, many workers from Cambodia. It's inside the Korean air, I estimated around 400 people, 400 workers from Cambodia to work in Korea. Okay? And my friend said that, okay, Bunlay, you see, you are so seem to be pessimistic about Cambodia, but now you can see Cambodia can compete with the other country because now they get a job and go to work in Korea. I said, okay, you are right, okay, so I just laughed at him. But when we came back from Korea, no longer about those people coming back, but we saw only 10 Korean people, okay, but they come with business class, okay, and some are in the first class. So only 10 people, and not many workers coming. So I told my friend back, you can see 400 people from Cambodia to work in Korea as a labor. At least 10 people coming from Korea as a CEO, executive, okay? So they have the knowledge. Okay, for us, 400 go and use our labor in exchange of money, okay? Maybe 1,500 US dollars per month with your hard work using energy, okay? Without having to use your cognition, your intelligence. But for the 10 CEO coming and work in Cambodia, you can see, okay, their salary, and then we can compare. Okay, so I would say that we are optimistic, we are happy that Cambodia is full of young people, but when the system, when the higher education cannot prepare them, cannot take proactive measure to equip them with the high skill, with the technology or becoming like that they can involve in the technology-oriented economy, okay, they will become the victims themselves. Okay? Yeah. So that is a challenge for us. I want just to go quickly. Cambodia now we have 121 universities, okay, or we classify as university or institution, and around 220,000 students. Okay, and the good thing in Cambodia is now higher education is considered to be the attention of the government. Okay, because in the rectangular strategy phase of the government, we focus on capacity building and human resource development. Okay, and higher education is a priority subsector. And then we have a lot of policies to support the industrial development plan or industrial development policy, Cambodia High Vision, High Education Vision, Cambodia Vision 2030 or whatever. So these are the policy, the mechanism to support our government intention of moving Cambodia toward the upper middle income country by 2030. And the research culture, okay, also has emerged, and also my department, inside the Department of Ministry of Education, we have gained foundation in capacity building for capacity building, for planning, monitoring, okay, and also many other international cooperation network. So before about 10 years ago, if my staff go to visit the university, we could only diagnose the problem. We could only identify like, okay, this university has conformed to this criteria or that criteria. And from the part of the university, they call us as a police, come and check and find a mistake and blaming. Okay? But now, our attention is more about like quality assurance, is supporting. We identify the weakness, the problem, and then we provide the capacity building programs. Okay? For example, in the case of like we know that most universities, especially in agriculture and in rural development, they do not have much experience in writing research proposal. And then we contact the SEARCA, we work out a plan in order to work together to deliver a workshop in Cambodia to support the university. So this is like this kind of capacity building program was not existing like 10 years ago, just started to be only in the past 5 years. So the challenges, I don't need to mention much, but I think it also happened to the Philippines. Okay, I think in the Philippines you have among like 1,800 universities, is 180 something, 1,800 university and institution. Okay, you also have the problem of only about 13% are doing STEM, doing like science, technology, mathematics, and something. In Cambodia, it's the same. Yeah, I think less than 10%. Okay, doing science. But remember, we want to shift the economy toward technology-oriented economy. But look at our students, what they are doing. Okay, not about technology, not about science, but social science, arts, language, humanity, because it's easy for them. And the university, it's easy for the university to do. And we have the privatization. It means the private companies can invest and establish the university, but there's no way for them to invest in science. No way for them to invest in technology because it requires a lot of investment in laboratory material equipment. So they just have the building, or the building maybe just rented, okay, and then hire the teacher, okay, and then just teach. That's why social science is we have a lot of students doing social science. And then people talking about quality and quantity, the increase of number of students, but the quality is not yet certified by the employers, both in the specialized skill and as well as soft skill. Soft skill, that's what I mentioned. The students sometimes they only come to class, come to school just to study, and after that they go home. They do not spend time in campus. Okay, but I think for you, I think you are lucky. Okay, here I look at this campus here. I feel like I miss my university. I miss my life as a student. Okay, because I experience like you, enjoying walking, sitting under, or maybe like just eat anything. You are like you control your own world in your own campus. Okay, but in Cambodia the campus is very small. Okay, or some university has just only the building. Okay, no. Even the lecturer don't even have the room for them to work in. Okay, so the students just go to the class, and after the class, they go back home. So no interaction with the other, no project. They do not engage with the project work or assignment that require them to interact with people. Okay, so as a result, they graduate. Maybe they got high grade. Okay, very good mark in their specialized skill, but soft skill is not as good. So that's why I think this is the issue, and for me, I look at the Philippines children. You are more advanced, okay, than Cambodian children, okay, Cambodian students. You are like, I think you are more active, okay. When we go to the group like scout group or something, the Filipino youth, okay, is always like outshining. I mean, like performing better than the other. Very energetic, active, yeah. So this is something. Yeah. But Cambodian students, okay, because they are not used to such opportunity. Very shy, okay, yeah. But now things start to change, but gradually we hope for the best. And then I would say that interesting thing here is because of the public budget expenditure on higher education remains the lowest in the region. As I told you that we just recovered from the war, okay, became peaceful, and then we started the full development of the countries. But we can see a lot of things change in terms of the infrastructure, okay, but still the investment in higher education is very, very limited. I would say that investment in education itself is a lot. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport receive the most budget, okay, from the budget plan of the government, okay, about 18%. However, all this money is spent mostly on basic education, universal basic education, primary education, early childhood, and university they consider like it is not yet a priority. Okay, so only 5% of the money for education is invested in higher education. So if we look at the GDP, it's only 0.1%, okay, of GDP is invested in higher education. So the prospects, I would say that now the government aim that Cambodia to become the middle income country by 2030, okay, and then in order to achieve the industrial development plan, and then our aspiration to become a knowledge-based society, and as indicated in the Cambodia Higher Education Vision 2030, and also a need to prepare Cambodia to take advantage from the ASEAN economic integration and the regional integration itself, okay, and also listed in the ASEAN in the rectangular strategy number 3 of the government in order to build the capacity of and also develop the human resource in Cambodia. So we are in a very critical moment that higher education has to play a leading role in promoting the human resources. So we have a lot of policies to support our plan from 2017 and 2030. So this is our plan. I don't have much time to explain to you about it, but we will work on 4 goals. Is trying to achieve is the quality and relevance, increase the quality and make what the students learn more relevant to the social and economic demand of the society, and increase access and equity in education, also internationalization and regionalization of higher education. So this is the goal that I'm very interested in, internationalization of higher education. And the opportunity for collaboration, I think this is too technical for you as a student, but for faculty and staff of the university, you can see that what we can see together. Okay, research collaboration. Okay, like like the university can partner with the university in Cambodia, and then we work together on a joint research project in order to promote the research culture, and then at the same time you can also support and build the capacity of young researchers in Cambodia and promote the researchers consortium. Now in Cambodia, among the higher education researchers, we developed one association called Cambodia Society for Research and Development, and I am also one of the executive members. This is just like civil society. Okay? We want all the researchers in higher education get together and use this umbrella, okay, to work together. Okay, so we call Cambodia Society for Research and Development. And something good for you is that student internship or community services. Okay, I think it's something when I presented this opportunity yesterday, a lot of faculty from AIM or from different university coming to me, and then we exchange a lot of perspective in terms of because like it's part of the curriculum. Some faculty you need to send the Filipino student abroad for internship, okay, or for community services. Okay, so this is something that we can work together, and as also an opportunity for you to engage in any community service. It's like overseas field work or overseas community services that you can go out to another country, let's say Cambodia, but not just, it's not for fun, okay? But you can enjoy, you can have fun while you are there, but the aim of going there is to do the community service. But it's something that you can also enjoy, and you can also learn in the process of engaging in these services. And also another thing is the program to promote soft skill, cross-cultural understanding, problem solving, critical thinking, and youth empowerment that I mentioned about the SHIP program before. So I think this is the opportunity for collaboration that we can do together, maybe in the framework of the agreement, okay, between the university or between SEARCA with the Cambodian university or with the ministry, and I am there in order to help facilitate the process. Okay, yeah. So I would like to end the presentation here. Okay, thank you very much.